Okay, so we're going to look at two things. We're going to look at the zero index and the power of a power. Now, this is all to do with indices, of course, but when we're looking at, we'll start off with the power of a power. The law for a power of a power is, given that you have a number and it has a power or index, and that whole thing has a power as well, or an index. The way we can rewrite this is as a to the power of m times n. So you multiply the powers. That is for a power of a power. We'll look at an example of that in a moment. But now we'll just quickly look at the zero index. The zero index states that given any number and have the power be 0, the answer will always be 1, all excluding if the number itself is 0. That can't work. That symbol, of course, means a does not equal 0. Of course, if 0 to the power of 0, that will equal 0. Okay, let's do an example of power of a power, and then we'll get onto an example of the zero index. Okay, example 1. Simplify. First question, part A. We need to simplify x to the power of 5 all to the power of 4. Okay, in this situation, we'll do x to the power of 5 times the power of 4. So we're going to multiply those two powers. So the base stays the same, still going to be an x, but 5 times 4, that will equal 20. So x to the power of 5 all to the power of 4 equals 20. We'll do a second example, see how it works. This time we're going to have 3 outside of y to the power of 5 all to the power of 2. Now, as the 3 is unaffected, essentially we just remember that there's 3 times this. So in our answer, we're going to have 3 times the base of y to the power of 5 times 2. So our final answer is going to be 3y to the power of 10. Next, we're going to look at an example using the zero index. Now, many people make the mistake when working with the zero index to just assume that the answer is going to be 1. And it's a fair guess most of the time, but you have to look at the question a bit more carefully to determine that. So we'll see that very shortly. We're going to be asked to evaluate these. So first we have a, and it's negative 3 to the power of 0. Now, as you can see, everything here is to the power of 0. So the answer is going to be just 1. But they're not all going to be like that. Let's look at another example. For part B, we've got our example is negative outside of 5x to the power of 0. So in this instance, that negative, that actually isn't part of this, so that's going to be there. And then all this will turn into a 1, so we're going to have negative 5x to the power of 0 is equal to negative 1. We'll do one more part of this example, part C. 2y to the power of 0 minus 3y, all to the power of 0. So let's have a look. We've got 2 times y to the power of 0, that's going to be 2 times 1, minus all of this is to the power of 0, so it's going to be minus 1. So that 2 times 1 is 2, minus 1, 2 minus 1, that's going to equal 1.